Okay, let's jump right in. Deep in the heart of Athens, one of the most ancient and, let's be honest, chaotic cities in Europe, there's a place that feels like it was just picked up from a faraway island and hidden away. We're talking about a neighborhood called Anaphiotika.
So, what if I told you that you could get that whole Greek island experience? You know, the narrow little lanes, the sun bleached white houses, all without ever setting foot on a ferry. It sounds kind of crazy, right? But it's one of Athens' best kept secrets.
And look, this isn't just some clever tourism slogan. This is a real living place. It's a genuine escape that feels like it's a million miles away from the city streets buzzing just a few feet below.
All right, so let's pull back the curtain on this incredible spot. Welcome to Anaphiotika, the island village that's literally nestled right under the gaze of the Acropolis. Its location is a huge part of its magic. I mean, it's perched right there on the rocky northern slope of the Acropolis. It's a stone's throw from the total chaos of the city, but it feels completely serene. This is the kind of place you almost have to get a little bit lost to find.
So, how in the world did an entire island village just appear on this hillside? Well, this story is absolutely fascinating. This wasn't planned by some city committee. It was built out of pure necessity, using a very clever legal loophole.
It all comes down to this old Ottoman law. It was basically a squatter's rights rule, but on steroids. The deal was if you could build a structure, roof and everything, between sunset and sunrise, that property was legally yours. And for a group of seriously skilled builders, this was an opportunity that was just too good to pass up.
So here's what happened. Back in the 1840s, King Otto needed the absolute best masons to work on his palace, so he brought them in from the Cycladic island of Anafi. By day, they were working on the king's projects, but by night, they were secretly building their own village, which they called Anaphiotika, or Little Anafi. Sadly, a lot of it was later torn down for archaeological work, leaving just the precious 45 or so houses we can still see today.
So, what's it actually like walking through these little streets today? Well, it's like stepping into a time capsule. This is not a tourist attraction. It's a living, breathing neighborhood. You're not going to find any souvenir shops or loud cafes here. What you will find are these narrow, unnamed footpaths, gorgeous little cube-shaped houses with bright pops of bougainvillea, and just a deep sense of quiet. And what's incredible is that many of the families living here today are the actual descendants of those very same builders from Anafi, keeping that original island spirit alive. And for a place that looks totally trapped in time, here's a little twist. Because a lot of the residents actually worked at the nearby gas factory, Anaphiotika was one of the very first neighborhoods in all of Athens to get hooked up with a gas supply. A little dash of modern life in this ancient-feeling village. But take just a few steps down the slope from Anafiotika's quiet little lanes, and you fall into a completely different world, the famous Plaka district. The contrast is just stunning. If Anaphiotika is the peaceful escape, Plaka is the city's vibrant commercial heart. One is for living, the other is for visiting, eating, and shopping. You've got two totally different worlds existing side by side, separated by just a few flights of stone steps. Plaka is just layers upon layers of history. You're walking on some of the city's oldest streets, passing ancient ruins that are literally right next to a lively taverna buzzing with music. This is that vibrant, bustling Athens that most people come to see. But all this popularity has created a very new, very modern conflict. It's a struggle that threatens the character not just of Plaka, but of that quiet little refuge of Anaphiotika sitting right above it. This is the number that's putting everything under so much pressure. 10 million. That's the projected number of tourists expected to visit Athens this year. To put that in perspective, that's almost the entire population of Greece itself. And all those visitors need a place to stay, which has led to an absolute explosion in short-term rentals. The demand is relentless. Just look at the data. Between December 2024 and October 2025, the number of active rentals in the city center climbed from just under 14,000 to over 14,600.
The city is trying to fight back, though. The mayor, Harris, has drawn a really clear line in the sand. He's promised to protect this historic area from being hollowed out and, in his words, turned into a tourist Luna Park.
So it's this classic battle playing out in real time. The problem is simple. The boom in vacation rentals makes rents skyrocket, and that forces local residents out.
So the city took action and banned new registrations. But the challenge now is that investors have found another loophole. They're just relabeling their properties as serviced apartments, which aren't covered by the ban. The fight for the neighborhood's soul is definitely not over.
And this leaves us with a really big question, one that's relevant all over the world. For places as unique and fragile as Anaphiotika, how do we as travelers appreciate their incredible history without contributing to the very forces that threaten to erase the community that keeps that history alive?